Welcome to Silent Sonnets, where we dive into the glamorous and intriguing world of vintage Hollywood. We're taking a closer look at a small but significant detail that helped define the beauty and elegance of an era: the eyebrows of Hollywood's leading ladies. From thin, sharply downturned lines to bold, dramatic arches, these were not just mere fashion statements, they were reflections of a rapidly evolving society. Keep watching as we delve into the history, style, and cultural significance of the evolution of eyebrows from the Roaring Twenties to the Hollywood Golden Age. The eyebrow, while a form of expression for the face, is also a sign of its time. Whether thin and long, arched and natural, or thick and bold, the most famous eyebrows in film were a statement of their era. Here we'll focus on eyebrow trends from the 1920s to the 1950s. The Roaring Twenties were a time of liquor, dancing, jazz, mass consumerism, and the newly liberated woman. With the end of World War I and women's right to vote, the 1920s empowered women to express themselves in a new way, including through beauty. As cinema became a form of widespread entertainment, the movie star became the muse for all things beauty, including eyebrows. With most 1920s films still silent, actresses created this overtly dramatic brow to help further express their emotions to audiences. Popular eyebrows include Louise Brooks, Clara Bow, and Anna May Wong. In stark contrast to the fuller, more natural brows of the early 1900s, the Roaring Twenties saw the rise of thin, dramatically downward-turned eyebrows. This look, which often extended well past the natural brow line, was not just a beauty choice. It was a declaration of independence and modernity. During this era, makeup became widely accessible, thanks in part to the growing film industry and the mass production of beauty products. Women everywhere were drawing inspiration from the silver screen, where stars like Theda Bara and Norma Talmadge framed their expressive silent film performances with meticulously thinned and arched brows. The process of creating these iconic eyebrows involved plucking the natural brows to a thin line, or even shaving them off completely, and then drawing a new brow with a dark pencil, often sloping downwards to accentuate the eyes dramatically. This not only highlighted the eyes but also gave the face a permanent, intriguing expression of surprise or melancholy. Experts believe that the bold makeup choices of the 1920s were a mirror of society's transformations. Women were voting, working, and asserting their independence more than ever before. Their bold eyebrows were a sign of their liberation, a small but potent symbol of the era's groundbreaking spirit. With the stock market crash of 1929, the Roaring Twenties came to an end. With the Great Depression dominating the 1930s, it feels counterintuitive to claim this as a glamorous era, but that is the case in film. The 1930s brow is similar to that of the 1920s. It is still thin, but rather than straight, the ideal look was a high, exaggerated arch, leaving one constantly surprised. At the forefront of the 1930s, eyebrow trends were actresses Greta Garbo, Marlene Dietrich, and Jean Harlow. The transformation was partly due to technological advancements in film. As movies transitioned from silent black and white to sound, and eventually to color, the need for exaggerated facial expressions diminished. Makeup had to evolve too, becoming less theatrical and more lifelike. Makeup artists like Max Factor, who would become legendary figures in Hollywood, were pioneers in adapting makeup for the new demands of film. Factor introduced pancake makeup, which suited the new film formats and subtly enhanced features without overwhelming them. In the 1940s, Hollywood actresses' eyebrows not only defined beauty trends, but also conveyed their characters' strong personalities and intense emotions. With a world at war, rationing, and women working in previously male-operated industries, 1940s beauty standards reflected the changing times. With less time to spend on beauty, including plucking and penciling in eyebrows, women defaulted to a low-maintenance look. Leaving behind thin, overemphasized brows, the new standard was a medium to thick, natural brow, typically with a prominent arch. Despite its easier maintenance, the 1940s brow, when paired with a natural face and a cherry red lip, embodies old Hollywood glamour. Lauren Bacall, Ingrid Bergman, and Ava Gardner are the period's leading eyebrows. With the end of World War II, previous gender norms went back into practice, with women staying at home through the 1950s. Women devoted more time to beauty, creating an ultra-glam and particularly feminine look. To summarize the 1950s eyebrow in one word, it would be bold. The eyebrow was well-defined, strongly arched, and drawn in with a pencil. Eyebrow icons include Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe, and Dorothy Dandridge. Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, two of the era's most powerful stars, became beauty icons with their commanding eyebrow styles. Davis's arched, thick brows accentuated her expressive eyes, intensifying her dramatic performances. Meanwhile, Crawford's meticulously sculpted arches helped redefine her facial structure, giving her a forceful screen presence that became her trademark. These iconic eyebrows design was no accident. Studio makeup departments, recognizing the power of visual storytelling, carefully crafted these looks to enhance their stars' emotional expressions. These eyebrow styles, popularized by Hollywood's leading ladies, did not fade away with the end of the Golden Age. Instead, they have continued to influence beauty standards, inspiring countless variations and adaptations in the decades that followed. From Audrey Hepburn's natural, expressive brows in the 1950s to Cara Delevingne's thick, bold eyebrows that sparked a resurgence in fuller brows in the 2010s, the legacy of Hollywood's eyebrow evolution is unmistakable. Each era brings its own twist, yet the influence of those early film icons remains evident. Eyebrow styles, like other fashion trends, are a canvas for expressing values, aspirations, and identities.